The news only surfaced this week that Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez had a joint meeting with Turki Alashik, and their decision to post on social media on separate days was meant to suppress reports of a brawl that occurred in the Saudi boxing mogul's presence. Crawford had been waiting patiently to see if Alashik could lure Alvarez into a lucrative deal to finalize the clash, making their three-way meeting a logical step. The aim of the meeting was to silence media noise and have a genuine discussion about making the fight happen. Canelo was somewhat difficult and unrealistic with his demands, which frustrated Terence Crawford and led to a brief war of words between them.
It would be one of the biggest in boxing.
We don't talking about yet about the fight. Me and Turkish know each other, and then we wanna see what happened.
And when do you?
As things began to get out of hand, Turki Alashik intervened, and only then did Canelo lower his demands, making an agreement possible. This happened shortly before the pair attended the Ring Magazine Awards in London over the weekend, where both held further talks with the influential Alashik about the clash. A report from renowned ESPN knockout journalist Julius Giulianis has now suggested that the pair have already reached an agreement.
Named you and Terence Crawford as one of the top 5 fights that he wants to see this year. Is that a fight that you're considering now?
We'll see. We'll see everything.
He claims the pair are set to meet in September in Las Vegas after talks progressed quickly under Alashik's oversight this weekend. Alashik himself appeared to hint at this, telling Ring Magazine, "The ring is the Bible of boxing, and we are close to seeing the white smoke on the horizon. 2025 will be a crazy year for boxing, and I mean it." Alashik had previously paused negotiations after struggling to break a deadlock with Alvarez, but both fighters were later seen posing with him after renewed talks, a clear sign things had moved in a positive direction.
It's possible. We'll see. We want to talk about it, sit down really well, and figure out something.
I know you thought he was kind of a lose-lose.
A showdown between these two gifted operators would be one of the most mouth-watering prospects in boxing today. The highly anticipated clash between Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford continues to dominate headlines. While the fight has yet to be officially confirmed, the possibility of these two pound-for-pound titans colliding in the ring has captivated fans worldwide. Canelo last fought in September, successfully defending his unified super middleweight titles against Edgar Berlanga. Crawford, meanwhile, recently moved up to 154 pounds, defeating Israel Madrimov to claim the WBA Super Welterweight Championship.
There's loads of things going around at the moment, including a big clash with Canelo Alvarez. Can you tell us what's going on in that situation, and can that happen next?
We shall see.
The fight was first speculated shortly after Bud dethroned WBA light middleweight champion Israel Madrimov last August, adding the 154 pounds title to the 3 other weight divisions in which he's won world championships. Soon after Crawford's summer triumph, Canelo made another successful defense of his WBC, WBA, and WBO super middleweight titles, securing another dominant win in a division he has ruled since 2021.
To come our way and me and him get in the ring, then it'll be an electrifying fight, you know.
As both fighters gear up for what could be the biggest fight of their careers, the 39-year-old two-time undisputed champion has already spoken out with a warning. Speaking on social media, Crawford vowed to shock the world and defeat the Mexican superstar when they finally clash. "I'ma shock the world. Watch. The best is yet to come. I had it in my back pocket this whole time."
It won't be like any other fight that he's fought recently, and it'll be a well-fought.
Although he remains confident, it will be a monumental task for Bud, who must move up 2 weight divisions to face the 34-year-old Mexican, who has found tremendous success at super middleweight by defeating the likes of Gennady Golovkin, Caleb Plant, and Jermall Charlo. Despite the weight difference between the two fighters, the potential for this super fight remains a hot topic of discussion.
So I believe.
Any doubt in your mind that you beat him?
Of course I beat him. It ain't no doubt in my mind that I won't beat anybody that I step in the ring with.
Amir Khan, the only fighter to have faced both Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, offered his take in a Box Nation interview. Having met Alvarez at a 155 pounds catchweight, Khan called Canelo a beast and reminded us that weight divisions exist for a reason. Size often wins. While he praised Crawford's skill, Khan warned that taking punches from Alvarez, like those he landed on Edgar Berlanga during their title fight at T-Mobile Arena on September 14, 2024, presents a formidable challenge.
Look, I like Crawford, and I think Canelo is a beast on that way. Honestly, I would advise Crawford not to do that.
Khan, who suffered a sixth-round stoppage loss to Alvarez, emphasized the physical toll of facing the Mexican superstar. "What a fight that would be," he said, "and I'll root for my boy Terence, but it would be tough." He questioned whether Crawford needs the bout, noting he's beaten everyone and ranks among the pound-for-pound elite. "If it's a big payday, I understand why it could happen. Why take a lower-risk fight for less money when you can take a seriously hard fight for serious money?" Despite praising Crawford's skill and ability to compete at the highest level, Khan warned of the matchup's dangers. "We never want to see fighters get hurt."
Canelo versus Jamel Charlo playing out.
I think Canelo just outboxes. Well, no, doesn't outbox him, but I think just outpowers him and beats him to the punch. And
amid growing speculation, Canelo Alvarez addressed the rumors with a brief but intriguing response: "I'm open to talk." While his statement leaves room for interpretation, it has only fueled excitement among boxing fans, hinting that this mega fight might be closer to reality when they face off in September. Shakur Stevenson, the WBC lightweight champion, believes Terence Crawford will defeat Canelo Alvarez and even claims it could be an easy fight. Stevenson stated he's been saying for years that Crawford has what it takes to beat Canelo.
Rumors of Canelo and obviously your good friend, mentor, Terence Crawford. A lot of people a few years ago would have said that's crazy, but I think everybody, when they see the talent of Terence Crawford...
Crawford, the WBA champion in the 154 pounds light middleweight division, has pledged to put on 14 pounds to compete in the highly anticipated bout, likely the biggest payday of his career. Shakur Stevenson was confident when asked if he believes Crawford will win, saying, "I've been saying this for years now. I'm probably the first one who's been saying this, even before Terence was. I always thought his style beats Canelo," Stevenson told TalkSport Boxing. While Stevenson suggests Crawford will go toe-to-toe with Canelo in September, that scenario seems unlikely given Crawford's typical approach when facing heavy punchers.
Classes, he's a special fighter, pound for pound, I think many will say #1 in the world, alongside the likes of people like yourself and that great list that we've got at the minute. Is he the man to beat Canelo?
Crawford typically relies on movement, using his jab and leaping in to land shots before quickly repositioning. He doesn't stay stationary or engage in relentless exchanges. His aggressive showing against Errol Spence was more of an exception, largely because Spence wasn't at his best following his car accident. It would be a little over a year, 13 months. "You've got to be very careful if you're going to take a fight above 160 pounds because it's a new weight range," said Chris Mannix on his YouTube channel, discussing the idea of Crawford taking a tune-up fight. However, it seems unlikely that Crawford will risk a tune-up bout against a super middleweight before facing Canelo Alvarez in September.
Canelo.
Yes, honestly, if anybody could jump up in weight classes and do it, it's Terence Crawford. I don't know nobody who is mentally...
If Crawford does compete in a weight class, it would likely be at a catchweight, possibly around 163 or 164 pounds, against a middleweight moving up. Potential opponents could include Aaron McKenna, Liam Smith, Austin Williams, or Kyrone Davis, fighters who pose minimal threat to Crawford and are ranked lower in the middleweight division. Hall of Famer and ESPN boxing analyst Timothy Bradley Jr. also favors Terence Crawford in a potential matchup with Saul Canelo Alvarez.
Mentally as strong as Terence Crawford, so I can't wait to watch it.
Your gym's an exciting gym. You all bounce off each other. You all likes of Keyshawn. Everyone's sort of mixing. That mentality in that gym, what is it? How is it different from any other gym? I've got to ask you because...
Bradley took to his YouTube channel to argue in favor of Crawford. "Everyone keeps talking about the weight," Bradley said, noting that while Crawford only recently moved up from welterweight to 154 pounds, Alvarez has been competing at 168 pounds since late 2020. "Oh, he's going to knock him out. When the hell was the last time Canelo knocked somebody out? It's been a while." Alvarez's last stoppage came against Caleb Plant in November 2021.
We just study Canelo, study Crawford. I'm letting y'all know right now, he about to beat the brakes off of Canelo Alvarez.
Since then, Canelo has failed to knock out established opponents like Dmitry Bivol in a loss, and a 40-year-old Gennady Golovkin. He's also gone the distance with fighters considered far below his skill level, such as John Ryder, Jamie Munguia, and Edgar Berlanga. Jermall Charlo, naturally a junior middleweight, also went the distance with Canelo, though he was never truly competitive with the super middleweight champion. "Y'all can quit with that, he's going to knock Crawford out. Come on, man," Bradley said. "Didn't we just see someone, Oleksandr Usyk, fight a guy Tyson Fury, who was quote-unquote 50 pounds heavier. Canelo's the same height as Crawford. He's not a natural 168-pounder. Usyk is a great fighter, absolutely. But you know who else is a great one? Crawford. The great ones know how to figure it out.
Yes, he is. Number 2, Devin Haney. You want to get back, man, go back to your roots, bro. Go back to where you started, bro.
To figure it out. Interview 17. Bradley highlighted Crawford's 74-inch reach, 3.5 inches longer than Canelo's, and his ability to limit opponents' output with sharp counterpunching. He noted that Alvarez is already a low-output fighter and believes Crawford could win a decision by fighting at range, using straight shots between Canelo's looping hooks, and wearing him down in the later rounds. "Don't go running away from the fight now, Canelo," Bradley said, referencing the unified super middleweight champion's apparent avoidance of David Benavidez. Imitating Canelo's higher-pitched voice, Bradley added, "Remember what you said, easy fight, easy fight, easy fight." Though a number of analytical boxing minds share Bradley's view, many in the fight game still believe the size and power gap is too wide for Crawford to successfully impose his style.
You started in Mexico, man. Go back, get one of those guys out of there, man. Go back, start there. That's where you start. Go back to your roots, bro. Get some of that humble pie, bro. Go back, start where you started. Start where you started.
Bradley, known for his strong opinions, stood firm in his unpopular take. "I'm going to get back to my Haterade," he said toward the end of the video, sipping his drink. You already know. Whether the boxing world gets to witness a Canelo versus Crawford showdown ultimately seems to be in Alvarez's hands. Crawford, who became the undisputed welterweight champion in July 2023 after stopping Errol Spence Jr. in 9 rounds, made more history earlier this year by becoming a 4-division champion, outpointing Israel Madrimov to claim the WBA title at 154 pounds. Mexican icon Canelo has also continued to enjoy his own share of success in recent years.
With Canelo, obviously, he had his fight with Edgar Berlanga announced recently. Not received necessarily a positive outcome and reaction he'd have liked. What did you make of the Canelo Berlanga?
After capturing the undisputed super middleweight title in 2021, Canelo came up short in his challenge against then WBA light heavyweight champion Dimitri Bivol. However, the 34-year-old has since bounced back with 5 consecutive wins, defeating the likes of Gennady Golovkin, Jermall Charlo, and Edgar Berlanga. Legendary boxing trainer-turned-analyst Teddy Atlas shared his thoughts with Fight Hub TV on the potential mega fight between the two stars, stating he would find it hard to bet against the American southpaw. "Very few people have the appetite or inclination to challenge themselves. Mr. Crawford does. I ain't never going against that guy. Father Time might catch him, but I don't know if a weight class can catch him."
Listen, I think Berlanga's a talented kid who's getting better. He's improved recently. I think he still needs more seasoning, but I see an improvement in him. He is a talented kid.
It's a tremendous challenge because Canelo is a tremendous fighter, bigger, stronger, and capable of punching and timing you. But just because you're smaller doesn't mean you can't win. Crawford will come up with a game plan that forces the other guy to rely on his size. Brian McIntyre, who has guided Terence Crawford to world titles in 4 weight divisions, will be hoping to lead him successfully into a bout with Canelo Alvarez.
The legs in some shape. Make sure the legs are in good shape because you don't have to side movement.
Is that a fight you would recommend for him?
Crawford defeated Israel Madrimov to claim the title at 154 pounds, and he's now targeting a showdown with the Mexican icon. While Crawford has already achieved major milestones in boxing, a victory over Canelo would stand as his greatest accomplishment. The super middleweight world champion has only suffered 2 defeats, against Dimitri Bivol and Floyd Mayweather, and it's the Bivol fight that Brian McIntyre plans to study closely. He made him move his feet. "If the fight ever materializes, that's the fight I would go back and watch," McIntyre said on the Luke Thomas YouTube channel, referring to Canelo's loss to Bivol.
Real simple. Real simple. You just got to know boxing in order for you to be able to say that. Okay, Terence go get in there and do what he needs to do. Perform.
"I'd look at Mayweather versus Canelo too," McIntyre added. WBN believes Crawford's name is now on a short list for the Mexican superstar, following months of media buzz surrounding the potential clash. Crawford has shown persistence in chasing the matchup, willing to move up 2 weight classes to prove his dominance. He fully understands the physical disadvantage he would face against Canelo, acknowledging that size will play a crucial role. Still, Crawford remains confident in his ability to overcome the challenge and impose his boxing style. Some analysts, however, have expressed skepticism about Crawford's ability to compete effectively at super middleweight, partly due to his most recent fight, a points win over Israel Madrimov at super welterweight, which lacked the dominant performance many had anticipated.
Hardcore boxing fans, they know Crawford can beat Canelo just like they knew Bud was going to beat Spence. It's real simple. Real simple. You just got to know boxing in order for you to be able to say it.
Regardless of these concerns, the potential bout between Canelo and Crawford has captured the imagination of boxing fans. The combination of power, speed, technique, and charisma from both fighters sets the stage for what could be an unforgettable spectacle. Canelo Alvarez has followed a consistent pattern of fighting twice a year, in May and September, with the latter typically falling on Mexico's Independence Day weekend. Since 2022, he has stuck to this schedule, and it's expected he will continue the tradition. With Canelo showing little interest in facing WBC mandatory challenger David Benavidez, Terence Crawford is emerging as a strong candidate to be his first opponent of the year.
Over with now, or are we still waiting for that second fight to happen?
I don't know, man. I don't know. They still got to go, got to work things out and see where they go from there.
I know Tim Drew's named in for the roundup as an opponent. What do you think about Crawford versus Drew?
Although the fight appears to be driven more by media hype than competitive parity, given that Crawford competes at 154 pounds, 2 divisions below the Guadalajara native, both Crawford and Turki Alashik are working to convince Alvarez to accept the bout, for which Canelo has reportedly asked $150 million. Considering how unconvincing a matchup with Terence Crawford might be from a sporting standpoint, and Canelo's continued evasion of David Benavidez, now campaigning at 175 pounds, the Mexican star could explore other compelling options to open 2025. One such name is Christian Bilai, a 29-year-old undefeated Frenchman with a 28-0 record, who recently defeated Sergey Derevianchenko in August and is emerging as a contender for the WBC title.
Yeah, don't think that they can get a shot at Bud after, with the belt not even being on the line. Is that a fight that...
A possible September opponent already ruled out was William Skull, 23-0, the IBF mandatory challenger. The organization stripped Canelo of his world title and removed his undisputed status after he refused to face the Cuban fighter. Speaking to Fight Hub TV, Brian McIntyre gave high praise to the undefeated Terence Crawford, who remains linked to a potential showdown with Canelo in May or September. Crawford has all the tools to win a third undisputed crown. Any hardcore boxing fan knows Crawford can beat Canelo. You have to know boxing to be able to say that, McIntyre told Fight Hub.
Believes in hardcore boxing fans, they know Crawford can beat Canelo just like they knew Bud was going to beat Spence.
Commenting on Conor Benn's performance, he said, "I think he looked like trash. I didn't watch the fight. Some of the coaches were watching it while I was driving. They just said he looked like trash. I know Pete Dobson really well, and he gave him a tough fight, but I don't think much of Ben. I really don't know him. I just hear his name."
What's your thoughts on that?
Let's go. Hey, that's a challenge to me too, as a trainer. I want to try to, outthink Eddie Reynoso over there.
When asked about Conor Benn calling out Gervonta "Tank" Davis, McIntyre responded, "Why would he go down there and pick on guys at 135 and 141? Why not mess with guys at 147 and 154 and call those guys out? If you really want to fight somebody, fight the best." Sharing his thoughts on the Tim Tszyu versus Keith Thurman matchup, McIntyre said, "I think it's going to be a good fight. Tszyu has the momentum because Keith has been out for a while."
Real simple. You just got to know boxing in order for you to be able to say that. Hey, Terry's going to get in there and do what he needs to do. Perform.
It's going to be a tough fight to call right now, but I can see it leaning toward Tszyu, simply because he has the momentum. Thurman doesn't have that momentum. It's just like riding a bike. And while Thurman has competed at the highest level for years, the long layoff could be a factor. What are your thoughts on Crawford jumping weight classes to face Canelo Alvarez? Who do you think wins that matchup? Let us know in the comments below. That's all for now. For the best updates on news, moments, events, and action in the world of boxing, stay connected by subscribing to our YouTube channel. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss quality content like this. Until next time, peace out.